Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hurricane Dorian update from A1A Media Network. I'm Harry Teaford, and this is an up-to-date report on all of our streaming locations. And with us this evening is Mayor Gonzo Mays, the honorary mayor of Key West and the fabulous Florida Keys.
Hi, let's hope it stays the fabulous Florida Keys, and she just keeps on moving.
That is for sure.
We don't want her to slow down, that's for sure. And that barometric pressure drops, she's going in.
We are going to try to bring you up to date with some information and some news from our news team of Mark Mills, who's our news director, and makes sure everyone in the Florida Keys is up to date on news and weather, and also our national news correspondent, Dr. Bob McClellan. And then you are going to be filling us in on what, Mayor Gonzo Mays?
Well, I want to tell you, when you see, I'm a survivor of 3 Category 5 hurricanes. 2 I stayed for with the family, and 1, Irma, this last year, I left. It didn't do me so good. You know, everybody was happy that they had stayed because it was a lot dangerous out there with 8 million other cars all heading in the same direction. Tempers flaring, flat tires are causing, slowing the traffic down. It's just bizarre. And then it was equally as bizarre coming back. But I want to tell you, the signs, in the old days of the Almanac, and it's true because I've noticed it, when you see the crabs crossing the road, wherever you are on the Gulf side or the Atlantic side, wherever you are near the water, and there are crabs like we have out here on these rocks and stuff, close to shore. When you see them, you don't see them all the time except in the water, but when you do see them and they're crawling across the highway and looking confused,
it's time to bug out.
They're giving you their tail. That's a sign that they're saying there's a dangerous storm in the area and that they don't want to be washed away. And they're moving as far opposite. In case of the Florida Keys, they move to the bay side. And I guess it would be the reverse if the storm were coming in from out of the Gulf.
That's right. May I take a moment to thank our sponsors of this broadcast, and they're making it possible for us to deliver the news about Hurricane Dorian to the entire state of Florida with everyone who has our app, our A1A Media Network app, or the Radio A1A app, or the Cruisin Country Radio app.
All right, so now I wasn't quite finished with the Almanac. So hurricane season, let's discuss, because that's what I'm wishing, the hurricane season were over at this moment. It's over on November the 30th is the chosen date for it to be over.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're in the Florida Keys, it's over when the turkey buzzards fly in from out of the Everglades and start catching these air thermals, and they start gliding around. That's a sign, told the Indians that there would be no more storms. The big storms were over with. And it's true, isn't it?
I love your Indian buzzard story, no doubt about it.
It's true.
The ancient mariners foretold hurricanes many different ways, and the barometric pressure and the winds and the way the water acted and nature in itself, right?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the crabs and the buzzards, yeah.
Well,
that's nature.
Well,
they know some things.
May I now recognize our sponsors?
Okay.
All right, thank you. First of all, Monroe County Bail Bonds. That's right, Monroe County Bail Bonds. A lot of people are probably going home early before they get even a chance to go on probation. Destination Florida Keys magazine, and that is the magazine that Mayor Gonzo writes for. Of course, the Jake Sullivan series by Chip Bell, author. And Mayor Gonzo, your beautiful book, Damn the Carnations, Full Speed Ahead.
Well, I have decided to put it a free read for everyone. It is an audio. It is on my big page, the Key West Mayor Gonzo Mays page, and it's the free hurricane love story, which is about an idiot who, a real story, and it's a short story, but it's a real story, and it's about an idiot who does not get out of the way of the storm in Key West and continues to party on Duval Street. When everyone else is inside, he's partying, looking for liquor, and he doesn't have enough sense to escape these slicing, dicing signs that are metal signs that are flying every which way down Duval. So it's kind of it's called a hurricane love story. So it's free until the hurricane is done with. And it was just something that made me feel good about doing. I don't know.
Well, let's have a report from our national news director,
that sounds great.
Bob McClellan, in just a moment.
All right, that sounds great.
Here he is right now, and he's going to bring us the perspective of the storm from a national, the national point of view.
This is Dr. Bob. Here's your National Hurricane Dorian update. Hurricane Dorian is now a Cat 3 and expected to hit land as a Cat 4 Sunday night or Monday. Landfall is expected to be in Palm Beach County. The storm is dangerous in all three components of deadly hurricane: wind, rain, and storm surge. The storm may then move inland toward Orlando, then turn north through Georgia and the Carolinas. FEMA has pre-positioned emergency equipment in the southeast and reported it is fully prepared to handle the response to Hurricane Dorian. Disaster assistance teams from FEMA will be in place. Citizens are encouraged to have an emergency kit available containing several days of bottled water, canned food, and medications. Publix is gearing up for customers stocking up. Many of Krause's stores are equipped with emergency generators. Florida and national Hurricane Dorian updates will be broadcast regularly through the weekend on Radio A1A.
That is our national news correspondent, Dr. Bob McClellan.
Now, it's not important any longer. It used to be important, or so the old-timers thought during Camille and Katrina, to tape the windows. But now we're being told, don't tape the windows. So we're not taping the windows. But we fled during, with my kitties, during Irma. And this go around, I'm going to stay right here and tell you what we're experiencing. Maybe we're going to get lucky. Hopefully we're going to get lucky. I hope.
Hey,
Craig.
But
I'm not wishing it on anyone else either.
You have 3 pairs of glasses on. Are you prepared for the hurricane?
I am. I got my goggles on. That is also keeping my hat from blowing off my head. And then I have my regular glasses on, my sunglasses. And then I have my blind man sunglasses. And then I have my reading glasses. They just call me, 2, 4, 6. They call me old 8 eyes. Okay. So you got to have cash. Make sure that you have cash on hand because you know what? The debit machines are run on electricity. And if the electricity's down and there's no, what do you call those things? You got to have a generator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And where I live, I can't have a generator in Key West.
Not allowed in some places because they can be dangerous. And that's one of the things we point out. Do not run a generator inside
Excellent
your home. Or your
advice.
Camper or your tent. You will
never,
die.
Never. Clearing, not even under trees, dry trees or anything. And water. Water's important because I know that all the locals here in the Keys have scavenged all the water from all the CVS's and the Publix and the Winn-Dixies and Tiny's. And Tiny's probably water's gone.
Tiny's is our favorite Alamorada place to get gas and essentials.
For the locals,
and beer.
Yeah, for the locals.
And
beer.
Ice.
Right.
Ice is one of those important things that you have to have. By the way, you listeners on radio may not be able to appreciate it as much, but behind us, for our video viewers, is a Caribbean radar graphic that actually is showing the real Hurricane Dorian right now, and and it's a situation. It's a situation that
It's a situation, all right.
there is an amazingly well defined eye wall. I mean, Mayor Gonzo, that is,
Oh, whoa.
and right there is Florida, right back
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and it's expected, if I may point out, this is
Absolutely.
from a 5 o'clock report.
Just tell me it's
from
turning away from us.
NOAA that it still seems that it is going to be in the south central part of Florida.
Oh, so now we're safe. Just thunderstorms, right? Just
Well,
storms and
This,
flying coconuts. That's dangerous on its own.
we are known as A1A Media Network, and the A1A runs from Jacksonville down to Key West. So even though the Keys may dodge the worst part of it, our friends in Boca and Fort Lauderdale, and maybe a little even more north than that, could get a really Category 4 storm surge and winds in excess of 135 miles per hour.
Now, I'm going to say this. If you have food in your freezer, enjoy it tonight. Pull it out and cook it all.
Yep.
Make sandwiches out of any kind of roast beef you might have in there, or chicken you might have, chicken sandwiches. Just be prepared with all of that and in your refrigerator, and just eat well tonight and tomorrow before it passes. It's going to pass the Florida Keys. Don't know if it's coming in, what it's going to do. We'll see. Because let me tell you, a hurricane is unpredictable.
That it is. And
That's right.
And it changes from moment to moment. The famous Isla Mirada 1935 Labor Day hurricane, which it's very unusual that this one may arrive on Labor Day as well.
Wow, yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning, I think, is
Yeah.
2 p.m.
Right.
Sunday. That's right.
Okay, fill your cars with gasoline. You know the standard
2 a.m.
stuff.
Sunday,
If you're not leaving, then you don't. If you got gas, can get gas locally. Always have a full tank for emergencies.
As it changes, our local news director and weather director, Mark Mills, gave us a report about 3 hours ago, and it just before it had turned to a Category 2. Let's listen to what Mark had to say about the hurricane. May we, Mayor Gonzo?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Here's the latest update from the National Hurricane Center and Radio A1A.com, Florida's radio station, regarding Hurricane Dorian. The most recent report states that Hurricane Dorian, now a Category 2 storm, maximum sustained winds 110 miles per hour, gusts to 120,
3 now.
125.
Yeah.
Movement now slowing a bit down to 10 miles per hour, still moving towards the northwest. That is confirmed, and that is, well, for home front here, Florida Keys, a good thing. Center of location, 24.5 north latitude, 69.8 west longitude. Dorian is expected to build to a Category 3, a major hurricane, by sometime late today, Friday. We will keep you posted on all of the activity of this storm. It's a major event, folks. Looking at the Florida coastline, if you are within 50 to 100 miles of Florida's coastline, you should be preparing yourself for a storm event. Now, the severity of it, of course, depends upon where the storm makes landfall. It has moved a little south, originally coming in north of, say, adjacent to Lake Okeechobee. It's now pretty much dead on to Lake Okeechobee in that respect. So it has moved a little bit south and continues to strengthen at this point in time. Get your plan together, folks. Make sure you know where your family and loved ones are. Make sure that you have medication, cash on hand, gas in your car, food of non-perishable type, and ice if you can get it. All of these things above are very important at this point in time. Get your shutters up and sit back. Hopefully you won't have to evacuate. We'll keep you notified of any changes in the storm. That is a Hurricane Dorian update from the National Hurricane Center and Radio A1A.com, Florida's radio station. I'm Mark Mills.
Thank you, Mark Mills.
Yes, indeed.
What a great voice. Now, you should also clean your bathtubs, because you're going to put the water in there that you're going to use for, not to brush your teeth, but to use for flushing your commodes.
That's
if
right.
you lose electricity, and you will lose electricity on a Category 4 and even a Category 3 if you're not in such, your home's not in such great shape.
Yeah.
So bring in the pets. Bring in all the pets.
Yeah.
Cows, pigs, everything. Bring them in.
Anything that could be picked up by the wind or
it's so
the
sad.
water, as in Alamorada during Irma, under the studio here, we had 4 feet of water, and it picked up a car and took it away.
Yeah, it sure did.
You'd think it won't happen to you, but Mayor Gonzo, you are a survivor of 3 Category 5 storms. The first one being Camille, where many people lost their lives.
240, I think.
Do you have a memory of Camille that you might share with someone just to give them
yeah.
some idea of what the destruction is like?
I sure do. After the day was over, the family stayed up the entire night with the grandparents because we lived up on a hill. And the next day, early the next day, at the break of dawn, everybody walked. We all walked, the whole family, all the kids. We all walked to see the damage. And there was trees down across the road, power lines, dangerous power lines. Now, we know that you don't go out and get near those power lines. Can be connected, power lines can be connected to trees that can send an electrical shock to you. So you just don't even want to get around that area.
Yes.
And as we made our way to the bridge, the first bridge, we saw snakes, all kind of stuff in the water that were washed up on land, on dry land. And when we got to the bridge, it was a bridge with a hump in it, and there were several shrimp boats anchored down. Some floated away. And on that bridge, there were 6 dead men with their heads hanging. They had lashed themselves to save their boat.
Wow.
They had lashed themselves to the bridge, and from all of the rain, they weren't expecting it to be so dangerous, and from all of the rain, it caused the knots not to be able to untie. They drowned.
Oh, my.
I mean, it's just tons of scary things that can happen during a hurricane.
Camille was supposedly one of the largest storm surges until Katrina happened in basically the same area.
Yeah.
30 to 40 feet storm surges that are unimaginable, the power of water. And
It's
this Dorian has the potential to produce a rather large storm surge as well. So beware, if you see water in the road, do not try to cross it.
When you see the eye in the hurricane itself turning, when you look at these, what do you call the things?
Graphics.
When you look at
Radar.
when you look at the graphics of a hurricane and you watch which way it spins, it is the side who gets the worst of it is the ones I considered a slap in the face, where it just slaps you, where it slaps on to the land. The slapping gets the worst part of it.
Yes.
And if you're on the other side or the downside of the slap, you might be okay. But that slap, it's a punch.
There was a hurricane that I experienced in Mobile, David, and that part of the hurricane that pulls away, not the slapping part, pulled all of the water out of Mobile Bay. And you could
I've heard
walk
about that.
out for just almost a mile.
And
out
did
into
you
the
do
bay.
that?
I did.
Well, how silly was
How
that?
stupid was that? Exactly.
He's not a pro at this hurricane thing.
The water will recede, and then the water will come back when the eye wall passes at a different direction. So,
And there's
careful.
nothing more frightening than, and so many elders, I'm going to say that so many elders are tired. They have no place to run to. They don't have the energy to run. And can you imagine making that decision and saying, I can't, I'm not well. I can't leave my doctor or close to the hospital, and so many people are like that in Florida. And they die.
Yes.
They die from these hurricanes. Because
Indeed.
nobody's checked on them. Please, if you can, please help someone out, an
One of the-
elder, bring them to safety and their pet with their pet, because they won't want to live without their pet if something.
that's true.
If something were to happen to the house.
One of the things I'd like to advise all of the people listening is if you don't already have the application on your cell phone for Radio A1A or the A1A Media Network or Cruisin Country Radio, grab that app, because that is one of the ways sometimes the electricity goes out, but the cell towers will still be going. And you can get your hurricane information not just during the storm, but when you evacuate. One of the most frustrating things and one of the most dangerous things that happened to me personally was coming back after
getting
evacuation.
to know me. Ooh, I oughta.
Well, yes, you. But having evacuated during Irma all the way to Orlando, we spent about a week there away from our home, not knowing what was going on down here in the Florida Keys. So make sure you have communication ability, either with your phone or a computer or just a radio, a small battery-powered radio could possibly
save your life, give you some direction. You know, at least you don't have to wonder what your family's thinking.
The time without power is miserable. It's when civilization breaks down somewhat. So those are the times when you're really going to need some things to pass the time.
Well, I was talking about getting the radio. You were talking about the radio, battery-powered radio, and I was saying that that's a good thing because you can get in touch. Your family can hear. You can hear what the outside is hearing, and you need to hear that in case there's some other sort of emergency.
Indeed. Do you have anything else on their checklist that you would consider?
You know, you got to have a 2-week supply for each person and your pets. Each person and the pet or pets. 2-week supply of medicines, waters, food. Hopefully you have a safe place to stay, and I don't know, just bless everybody and just be careful. Follow the law. Follow the laws when they evacuate. If you can evacuate, and if you're made to evacuate, evacuate. But living in the Keys, you don't have to evacuate. Only the tourists have to evacuate. It's up to you to be smart enough to either evacuate or not.
Thank you, Mayor Gonzo, for that very wonderful perspective from someone that you've been through some really bad hurricanes. And thank you to Mark Mills and Dr. Bob McClellan for the work that you do. On the hour, we're going to be delivering Hurricane Dorian updates. We'll be back tomorrow night with another video report if the mayor...
At what time?
Is 7 o'clock once again.
In the morning?
7 o'clock tomorrow evening, 7 p.m.
Oh, not till tomorrow evening. Well, okay. Because I'm in this. When you're living in hurricane zones, it doesn't matter where you are along the Gulf Coast, those people are... the Hurricane Dorian can jump over Florida and come out weaker as a Category 1 and just start spinning again and developing again. That's what happened to Katrina.
That's exactly right.
You did. And so I've actually seen hurricanes take a loop-de-loop, be up in the north part of Florida, and go back south. How does that happen? But one did. I think that's that one that destroyed Charlotte Harbor. You know, they had the bad times at Charlotte Harbor. But please be safe, everyone. Please, 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 please check on the elders and take them in if you can. They'll so appreciate it, and bring their little pet with them. And just help an elder, please, and be safe yourself, and bless everybody. I'm thinking about you from the Keys, from the Florida Keys. It looks like we're going to be okay down here, but we'll stay on air for you.
For everyone along A1A, be careful.
Yeah.
This has been the Radio A1A, Cruisin Country Radio, A1A Media Network, Hurricane Dorian update. We'll be back tomorrow night with you. It's been sponsored by Monroe County Bail Bonds, Destination Florida Keys Magazine, the Jake Sullivan series of books by Chip Bell, and of course, Damn That Book, Damn the Carnations, Full Speed Ahead. And Mayor Gonzo, any last words?
Yeah, please y'all stay tuned, and if y'all hear anything I don't hear, please let me know, because I'm nosy like that. Be careful.